Welcome to the Clash KO podcast. I'm Colton Cruz.
And I'm Wyatt Garland.
Welcome to the podcast where we analyze anime
and punch things with our mouths.
Today's topic, Dragonball Super.
But before we start, if your ears get full, we got some prime eye juice over at our YouTube channel, Clash KO.
So, have you been watching Super?
I've been doing nothing, but I'm up to date, and the best part was there's all those episodes to sort of, thematically get you jumped and ready for more Dragon Ball Z. How many? There's 95 episodes now?
It's close to 100. We're basically at 100, let's just call it.
And I remember we were talking about it when it first came out.
Oh yeah, we watched the first 8 episodes when it first came out.
But they were the movies, right?
Neither of us got into it.
Well, what I'll give them, and what is completely fair, is they needed the movies to fund the anime, or at least get the anime, both the movies were the fire starter for the anime, and then the anime sort of needed some role. And I remember there was a lot of issues about the animation at the start. It was a little choppy.
I remember some just horrible scene of Trunks and Goten fighting a giant snake, and it just not making any sense or meaning anything.
The classic one I saw was Beerus and Goku Super Saiyan 3, and there's just this shot of him, and does not have a nose. That classic zoom in from the background.
And the first 2 movies were Beerus' character being introduced, the God of Destruction, who's the new OP character.
What's originally why Akira stopped the anime and the manga, he was literally listen, I couldn't think of anybody stronger for them to fight at this point.
Right, yeah, it had become... Yeah.
It peaked out.
Yeah,
so they had to introduce this new God character to give Goku some sort of, some limits.
Yeah, so Beerus is the god of the universe and...
Destruction.
Yeah, but he's at universe tier, so he's above the Kais and stuff.
Mm-hmm. The Kais answer to him.
Right, so it introduces a whole nother power layer above, but he's also just physically better than Goku too. Easily. He bests everyone. Super Saiyan 3, everything, right?
Yeah, and then they do the new God version, which...
Yeah, which took a long time to get to, I have to say,
Yeah, well the movie was... the first movie was interesting, and the show pulls that out even longer, of course.
Yeah, because I remember one of the things that turned me off when I got back into Super, watching it, once I got past the, okay, I'm gonna, give it an honest try again years later, was Vegeta just gets whipped, so quickly in the series, and that really turned me off, too, really quickly.
Well, it's... Vegeta is Akira Toriyama's least favorite character. He said that. There's this great picture of him smiling, and the quote is, he's yeah, I got a lot of fans telling me, don't kill Vegeta, so I intentionally killed him. For the original Dragon Ball Z. He doesn't, and that's so interesting, because he's such a beloved character. I think most people I ask about the series, they love Vegeta. They love Vegeta. And there is something to say about that. I mean, they did give the main romance of the show to Vegeta.
It's true, yeah, no, I like the Bulma, that's the thing. Everybody really loved, seeing Vegeta, in the relationship. He's married to Bulma in, Z, but, we don't see anything.
Yeah, but we get a lot of that in Super, and, that's what really happens. And I had a lot of, we were talking about how it takes a little bit to get into, and we'll get into the pacing of the series in a second here. But essentially, for the wide scope of it is that there's season 1 is Beerus, season 2 is Frieza comes back.
Yep.
Season 3 is the time thing. They go do the thing.
Yeah, they go to Trunks' universe to solve
then
some
they
crap.
Have a tournament number 1, and
then there's gonna be
the tournament number 1 is before the time skip, right?
It is, yeah. So we they basically set up as the overarching thing is there's basically the Omni God.
Yeah.
Wants to see them fight, and so there's a scrimmage match season.
Yeah, there's a scrimmage match season, and then they have the time travel season, and now they're on the Tournament of Power. And the Tournament of Power is kind of getting back to basics. That's what we really want to talk about. But before then, there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, there's 95 episodes, and the Tournament of Power doesn't start till episode 80 or something.
89 or so. Not even, yeah.
So it's really only recently that we've gotten back into stride. And I remember talking to an old fan. A fan of the older series, not an old fan, but... and she was disappointed because she was not about kind of the Dragon Ball style of Super. Because
it's true. Super takes big breaks to do kind of filler style, just development content. There's a baseball episode. That's just because why not?
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff that's just funny and I think a lot of people don't want that.
Don't appreciate that at all.
Exactly, because Z really changed the formula. Dragon Ball Z was about the punching.
Yeah.
There's a couple joke things, and a lot of the concepts are jokes, but fundamentally, it's a little, the drama is
the drama is snuck in Z. Like, what is it, like, it blew my mind to find out that, or to, like, I was rewatching some of the stuff, and, like, there's this whole scene with Boo, like, meeting a blind child, and, like, they have a whole interaction. And that's just not in the manga at all. And I was like, wow, that's a really dramatic, heart-wrenching, like, scene that makes, like, things make more sense.
Yeah.
It's very much like what they did with the, Fist of the North Star anime, where it's like, yeah, it's really slow, like, Dragon Ball fights, but, like, there's a lot more, like, I don't know, dramatic tension.
They do a lot of world building, and the thing is, I think what fans don't like about it is Dragon Ball Z set this really serious, dire, it's like, oh my god, Cell's gonna blow up the world, but Boo is gonna, like, destroy planets, like, there was a lot of tension built, and then in Super, they kind of reintroduce this universe with a lot of core joke concepts.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much like, no, this is funny, these aliens are cats, and, you know, it's a joke, and, you know, these, exactly, like, you know the one, like, there's a lot of stuff that they introduce that isn't really, you know, it's not exciting. It's kind of just mostly funny.
Yeah.
But what we gotta remember is Akira Toriyama fundamentally he's a comedy writer first. Like,
it's true. Dragon Ball, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people, you know, see Z as this big epic of, like, battles, but, like, Z in the manga moves so quickly.
Oh, wow.
You don't even really appreciate it as, like, a big battle epic. You know, there's a big chunk of battle epic, but, like,
it's, what is it, in the, it's so funny because people harp on Dragon Ball Z a lot. Because the one qualm is like, oh, they scream for 3 episodes. It's the classic Dragon Ball Z diss. But it's like, no, in the manga, that was 1 panel. So if they actually moved at that pace, are you kidding me? It'd be lightning fast. So the anime, they didn't overcorrect. I feel like they corrected it appropriately and just slowed it a bit down. Yeah. But enough about the old stuff and enough about the filler arcs. Let's get to the meat.
Let's get to the Tournament of Power. Like,
let's get to the meat that's before the Tournament of Power, because there's a little bit there.
Okay, well, let's talk about Beerus a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so they level up to Super Saiyan God and then Super Saiyan Blue immediately.
Exactly. And so essentially now they use God energy, or they can fight cosmic beings.
Kind of, yeah. And it's interesting because they very much go and reset the whole power structure, too. Mm-hmm. Like, every character gets basically kind of shuffled around, like, Krillin could beat Goku, maybe, in this situation. Android 17 can actually just fight Goku at the same level, like, and everything.
No, there's an interesting little mix-up there.
Yeah, so they definitely, like, reset power levels, and I think that's another thing that a lot of people get upset about, is like, well, I learned all of this while I was a child, that this was how things were, and now you introduce a new character that's stronger than Goku, who is also a cat, which just is, it's a little out of place. Like, I see people just saying, like, oh, you just introduced a new bullshit character?
Yeah.
And then, like, they take all the other characters and they're like, yeah, we're messing around with the power levels.
Yeah.
It's not as straightforward and kind of unilateral.
And honestly, what kind of, like, yeah, the whole side character things, the whole weird stuff, it really kind of just burns me a little bit with the time arc, which is sort of like right after. Because the first tournament that happens with Beerus and his twin from another universe introduces the concept of different universes. It introduces the concept of other gods of destruction, and they do this fun little parallel where they look at a different universe, there's different Saiyans, it's very multiverse, and I think that's from the video games that happen, the Dragon Ball Z's universe, where those games become very popular. And they're very good, because it's an exciting sort of like, oh, build your own Dragon Ball Z style character, so it makes the whole digestion of different universes very easy. And then these new characters come in, and it just shuffles the deck, exactly like what you're saying. And I get that a little people were piffed, because the whole point about Z was we're establishing who is strong, who isn't. There are very clean-cut lines, and the whole drama of the show was about, like, inching above and around those lines. Like, I mean, Super Saiyan 2.5 and stuff like that, that was paramount in these moments, and then it's
the thing is, like, it being one universe too, it's like, you know, we have that, like, okay, Piccolo's gonna get stronger than Goku was, then Vegeta's gonna get stronger than that, and then Goku's gonna get stronger than that, and that's the end of the arc.
Exactly.
And this, again, like you said, shuffles the deck, and it very makes, and, like, I know, like, even I get a little pissed sometimes about how they have it, like, so messy. Like, Tien and, like, Master Roshi get, like, just thrown in some weird places. And it's just like, okay, like, that's one thing, but then, like, you know, like, in the same way that we talked about kind of Vegeta getting kind of whipped, Vegeta gets kind of put in this, like, yeah, he's not second best anymore. He's kind of in a weird...
Well, they introduce a lot of alien characters that are very strong. I think the first tournament they have, the sparring tournament, where they sort of set up the tournament power, they fight Beerus's the clone, where they fight the twin of their own universe. They fight a clone of Frieza. They fight a clone. They fight other Saiyans. They fight these weird cheapo-feeling enemies that can, like, transport energy to other dimensions.
Which is,
they fight Pooh Bear, you know?
And which is great, because it is back to that Dragon Ball, like, martial arts thing.
Yes.
Which I do appreciate. Like, on the flip side, I really appreciate the kind of return to, like, no, there's, like, certain level of technique to fighting. It's not all just, like, well, you're Boo, so I have to go Super Saiyan 3, and that's just I win, because, like, that's more powerful.
Yeah, but then they get to Hit. And I think Hit is really when they start to change the game. Hit is an assassin character. He's 1,000 years old. They talk about that, because it is relevant. Yeah. He is, like, this super sage character, but he can also stop time.
Yeah, like, he doesn't have a, like, transformation. He doesn't just get, like, again, Super Saiyan 4, like, Super Boo, or absorb people. It's like, no, he has an ability to stop time, and basically by fighting Goku, his ability gets a little better, and like that's his thing.
Well, what's interesting is that he realizes he's never needed to stop time for more than about 3 seconds, so he's like, oh, well, I'll just push this.
Right,
So, and then, like, and Goku's like, well, I'll just tax my body to the absolute limit, and Hit's like, I'll just try a little bit harder, I guess.
Yeah, which is interesting, because they do the same thing with Frieza. They do that, like, Frieza comes back and he's like, yeah, you beat me, but, like, I never even tried to think about fighting before. So I went and trained for, like, just a little bit.
The first time in my life.
And my potential, like, has put me up with, like, Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, well, that says a lot about Frieza's character.
Exactly, yeah. Like, and it's an old character, so I think a lot of us older fans, too, like, can jump on board with that. Like, okay, Frieza's a big deal again, cool.
Yeah, honestly, the movie...
Resurrection F.
Resurrection F, I think, is awesome. For me, it really was an anime movie. Like, plot-wise, structure-wise, as far as a film
It's a Dragon Ball movie.
Exactly.
Let's not put our bar too high.
That's what I'm talking about. It feels like a larger-than-life episode, and that's all I wanted. You go into theaters, and you get to see Goku freaking Bruce Lee punch Frieza in the heart. It's beautiful. There's some fun moments there. But really what it does is it establishes Frieza as a real threat again, and as a real character, and all of this comes into play, like, all of this universe hustle, all of this shuffling of the deck. We get the time skip, we get all this, you know, they go into a different time universe to go see how Trunks is doing, and they fight, you know, a god version of Goku. They fight Goku Black, which I really wish they explored more, but let's get to where the show actually hits its stride.
And that's the Tournament of Power.
Yes, that's
and
the
like the big thing that makes the Tournament of Power work is it's top 10 fighters from Universe 7, our universe. So
yes.
We get to see basically every fighter from Earth.
Yeah.
Like every main character. It's all Earth.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, of course.
So we've got Goku, we've got Vegeta, we've got Piccolo, we've got Gohan.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Master Roshi.
Oh, well, obviously.
We've got Tien.
We've got Krillin, too.
We've got Krillin, we've got Android 17 and 18. And we were supposed to get Boo. We're led up to get Boo. And they even put him in the opening.
I know, which was sneaky.
Smart.
It was sneaky.
And then they just fucking, like, pull a fast one. It's like, oh, Boo fell asleep. You gotta get Frieza.
Yeah, but what I like about the whole Boo thing, and I'll give him a second here because he was always my favorite character. To be fair, I mean, I know the whole idea is that, yeah, Frieza got an arc too, but let's be real, Boo got a little bit more screen time. Like, Boo got he got multiple different forms, he got a whole season.
Oh, yeah.
He was the final villain of Z. And he's in plenty of stuff in this season, and don't get me, like, wrong, I have a betting on him that he'll be important later on.
Yeah,
like,
and don't pretend like he's not gonna have his own, like, fucking mini-mission back on Earth.
And I love the idea of, again, the quote-unquote bullshit that happens with Boo is that Boo had never trained before either. Like, that hadn't been a thing that his character had ever done. So, he actually got buff. It was so cool. Like, we saw this Boo in, like, he had the cape still and the dumb pants, but he looked like Super Boo. He was super jacked, and he actually gave Goku a run for his money in a little, like, sparring match. But then he fell asleep. Because he'd never worked before in his life. And then, like, he was just in a coma. He was literally in a coma. So they just had to deal with that. And they went to hell and brought back Frieza.
Which is a cool, like, I feel like it's a very GT thing. I never saw GT, but I know they go to hell in GT. Like,
they
interact with everybody
from hell comes out at one point,
yeah.
and they do go to hell, and they have to fight. What is it? Frieza and Cell team up, like to fight Goku.
So I assumed like that this was kind of a little bit of a callback to that.
Yeah.
But like, what's cool then is like, so before the tournament, we hit like a touch point with Goku and each of these characters, and then in the tournament, of course, we're doing kind of a little touch point with each character. So let's start with like Krillin. Krillin like has like a thing where like he's been a cop this whole time and he's given up his life as a martial arts, and like it's interesting you point out like no, he gets to a point where like bullets, which to all of the Z fighters like have been nothing. Yeah. Bullets now like bruise him, and like it's a big deal.
He got nicked by one. I remember once.
Yeah.
They even show this really. I mean, it almost felt useless to see Goku fighting people with guns. You're like, he was dealing with this when he was 5. Are you kidding me? But then it really puts everything into place when you see Krillin get nicked by one, and that's kind of a turning point because I think Krillin and his wife is 17.
17.
It's
18.
18? It's 18? Yeah. Right, because that makes more sense. Makes more sense. I always mix it up. But they, no, the fact that, like, she just kind of scolds him for getting weak is so indicative of their relationship.
Her character's so good.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's always been the best.
Oh, like, she's beautiful. She's great.
But the thing is, they put on Krillin and he has to, get back in, and they kind of like, oh no, Krillin is kind of crafty, and they give him that as like his character thing. It's like, no, Krillin like isn't that strong. He's a regular human, but like he's got like a thought process because he kind of is a coward, and like that gives him a perspective that like that Goku is weak to because he doesn't know what it's like to be a coward.
He doesn't know what it's like to have to like lower his energy level or do things like it.
Right.
We'll do a quick aside here, but Dragon Ball Z Abridged does this great job of giving Krillin more of a personality.
Yeah.
And him being of a coward because they give him, his whole thing is he can lower his energy level to where no one can hear it. Like stealth mode is what they call it, which is hilarious because that's what Krillin would do. And in Super, that's what they do. They give him a mega solar flare is his new thing, where he's like he's basically like a double flashbang, and they give him some stuff, and he even like has the guts to tell Goku, "No, punch me as hard as you can. I want to see where I'm at."
Yeah, which is good. Like again, there's good character growth and kind of development there, which is cool.
So Krillin gets signed on basically to the team.
Yeah.
Now I didn't actually. I was skipping around a little bit, to be honest. So
you have every ability to skip around.
Like let's be real. I watched every other episode up to a certain point because half of these episodes are jokes, and I was looking for some punching. Because
there's a good 5 minutes at the beginning where they rehash the entire past episode.
Yeah,
But anyway.
No, you know a lot about Tien and Roshi. I missed that.
Okay, so yeah, they do a Tien and Roshi.
Well, you explained it to me, and then I was like, I'm not watching this.
So like Tien sucks. Tien is the one that like really lets you down because they go to like a thing where like he's got a dojo and it's like okay, so Tien is like trying to expand like the martial arts world, but like his enemy that like Goku like helps because they have like a little like arc, a little mini episode they do with each. Tien tries to do a technique, immediately gets squashed, and then Roshi like gets taken over, and then Goku just fights Roshi, and like that's the episode. And in the very same way, Tien just gets shit on in the Tournament of Power, too.
We'll get to that.
He does a thing and then gets killed.
Yeah, we'll get to
that.
But
so really nothing happens with Tien. It's really just kind of a waste.
Yeah, Tien's like this focused warrior, and you're like, he's the one who would have never given up training anyway.
Exactly, and so it's...
But I guess, is it in his character to not desire power that much?
No, I think it's Akira Toriyama just doesn't give a shit about Tien.
He doesn't care. That's fair.
And then Roshi, it's interesting, they have him and he's just dicking around, but like they kind of do a thing, it's like, no, Roshi's been secretly training because he's like, I can't fucking fall this far behind.
Yeah,
like,
well, he just has he's got this weird pride thing where
exactly,
he's like...
Yeah, he was the best martial artist for so long.
I gotta do something,
And then they do a really cool thing with his character in, like, the pickup arc, where they're like, okay, his one weakness that he has to get over is his, like, his, like, falling apart for women. And they do, like, a thing, and it's not great, but, like, he gets over it. The thing is, like, no, he has steeled his soul, and he is no longer a giant pervert.
Yeah. Except he definitely is. Like, they do an episode, and we'll mention this because we both got pretty shamed with this.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, it was, like, after something, we bring everybody together, like, we convince a couple of our friends to sit down and watch, like,
because it was
the
Saturday
newest episode
night,
of Dragon Ball Super.
We wanted to see it, and of course...
It's the Roshi episode.
And, I mean, he just pulls out his old rapey bullshit, and you're like, come on, I thought the whole point of his character...
And the whole point of the arc, the growth arc, the little growth episode they did was like, yeah, we're done with that part of Roshi's character. And then it's immediately like, he bluffs his way to it.
Yeah,
but it's like, I'm gonna ruin you as a woman if you don't like back the hell off.
And that's
really, how he wins his fight.
And you're like, what? And then they make a joke about it later, but it doesn't.
It's not cool. It's not.
Why
cool.
did you write it in the first place? What was the point of it before?
It's not cool. It's stupid.
It's a waste of storytelling time, and I don't have. Like, these
it's just like, to
stupid.
get an Orochi joke. Like, that
really?
was worth it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, it's stupid.
And then they, like, try and tack on, like, at the end, it's like, Goku's like, you almost died, like, I need you to be my master still. It's like, don't pull this bullshit out when you just fucking just rehashed, like, an old Roshi just pervert, like, joke,
it's
like, episode.
Weak. It was a weak decision.
It's dumb.
But honestly, other than that, Turn of Power has been exciting. Yeah. But let's go back on the roster.
Yeah.
So androids.
Let's do, the android. So Android 18 is just like, I'm still Android 18, so, like, that's me. They basically don't do anything with her other than just, she's like, I'm Krillin's wife, so, like, I'm really not, like, committed to this.
Yeah.
Then they do Android 17, her brother, who has not been in anything since literally the Cell arc.
This is technically, like, they're surprised that he's alive. Like, it's very much
because they basically wrote him out of the show.
Yeah.
Like, so he's been a park ranger on an island, and he goes and, like, he was supposed to be the androids to kill Goku, but, like, we know, like, through the power levels with Cell and stuff that, like, 17 should be pretty, like, he should be at Piccolo's level, basically.
He couldn't be he fought Piccolo to a standstill when Piccolo received his power-up in the Cell arc, so...
So he's Super Saiyan 2 maximum.
Maybe. Like, honestly, like,
but they put it on there, and it's like, no, I've been on this island, and I've been training with animals, basically, and they have him fight Goku, and he's Super Saiyan Blue level.
Yeah.
If not, like, possibly higher.
Yeah, and what's interesting is in the tournament, when they have him fight, he actually goes toe-to-toe with somebody and has to use a little bit of effort and just still cleans house.
Yeah, it's interesting because, he's Android 17, so, like, he's just ruthless. Like, they put him in the Tournament of Power, and he's like, well, I'm an android, I have no energy, like, I don't tire out, so I'm just gonna do most of the work. Yeah. And so they have him do most of the cleanup. Like, he cleans out, like, 10 people by himself.
Yeah, he's just like, boom,
and it's an interesting kind of thing, because, like, they had a hard time getting him on, but he's just like, no, I'm a super powerhouse, so I'm just gonna go for it.
They are perfect for the job.
Clearly, Akira Toriyama loves 17, too.
Yeah! Like, there's clearly been a huge bump of them. Gohan and Piccolo still keeping it together. The real father right there is Piccolo.
They do, like, an arc of, like, Gohan...
They give Gohan a while. And they've always given Gohan a while.
They give Gohan, like, a couple episodes where it's like, oh, he's gonna do Spirit Gohan, he's not gonna use Super Saiyan, he's got his own thing. And, like, he should be technically stronger than Goku Blue. And Piccolo's, like, training with him, and Piccolo's supposed to be, like, edging up there with Gohan as well. But then they do, like, a whole, like, 4 episodes of, like, Gohan fighting Goku. And they're just like, yeah, Goku's still just stronger.
Oh, yeah.
They just basically, like, castrate it. And it's really shitty, honestly. Like, because it just, like, it's like, oh, are we all, like, okay, so back in Z, the idea with Gohan originally was he was going to replace Goku as the main character.
That was the decision.
And they almost, like, kind of revisit that. And they're like, okay, Gohan is going to be strong as at least, or, like, a run for his money on Goku. Yeah. And then they're just like, nah, never mind. We're going to waste 4 episodes, and then Goku's just going to be stronger. It was bullshit. It was stupid.
It was stupid because it gave no payoff. And
exactly. It was like, we're going to build up hope for 3 episodes, and then just be like, nah.
So it's a little annoying, but I think what fundamentally it got down to is, when you have a Saiyan, you use a Saiyan. Like, Saiyans are just too fun as characters to not use. And, we'll get to Goku in a second here, but let's talk about, obviously Piccolo's in the tournament.
Piccolo rides on, and he's got that same thing. I'm training also, like...
He's in the tournament to get his arm blown off, okay? That's always been Piccolo's MO, so it's gonna...
Yeah, Piccolo's there to get shit on,
no, but Vegeta has surprisingly been,
yeah, he's been doing a lot of, like...
swinging.
He's Super Saiyan Blue, too.
Yeah.
He's been training with Beerus's assistant, who's stronger than Beerus.
Yeah, he's been sneaking in some stuff.
And they basically put it into perspective that, like... They have this little arc where Vegeta, like, they have the scrimmage tournament, and Vegeta's like, I can't go. My kid is being born. I'm staying here.
Yeah.
And it, like, really finally sets up, okay, Vegeta has accepted that he's going to be in second seat. Like...
Right, well, it really just talks about how he wants to be the best, but to him, the best doesn't mean being a mindless idiot. And that comes from his perspective of being a Saiyan, and like he has that great moment where he's talking to Goku Black, where he's talking about, because
it's a really, really good scene.
Beautiful. In the time arc, Vegeta goes to the time chamber, powers up a little bit, comes back into Trunks' time and fights Goku Black, and he's stronger than Goku Black, and what he tells him is, he says, "Shall I tell you where you went wrong?" And his reveal is obviously that, no, only an idiot like Kakarot could push that body to its limit. And what he's trying to say about Saiyans is like, yeah, no, fundamentally as a race, if we remove all obstacles, we can fundamentally be stronger than anything. But Vegeta has accepted that he's...
there's more than just blood to it.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, no, I have my pride, which is more than... Kakarot is a clown, and he used to, like, rag on Goku for being a clown, but now he's accepted the fact, like, no, yeah, if I was an idiot like Goku and I did nothing else, like, if I ignored my family and all of my duties
Which Goku does, and Vegeta does not. Like...
Exactly. If he ignored everything, he could be that. So Vegeta's whole thing, he's like, no, I gotta be smarter than Goku.
Yeah.
So that has changed his character.
Which also, I think, for a lot of Z fans, like, it gives... it respects the Majin Vegeta fight.
Yes.
It very much respects, like, no, that was their bout. That was their last kind of, like, okay, things are settled between us. Like, we're rivals still, but, like...
But only in the sense of, like, Vegeta... If Vegeta, like, sacrificed his family, and he... You know what I mean? If he removed all of his human obstacles, just like Goku has basically done... he believes that he's like, no, I could beat Kakarot. But now the game in his mind is, no, I want to beat Kakarot with all of my responsibilities, so then, like, I can bask in glory of the fact that I'm smarter and better than him.
Right.
Like, he's like, and the interesting thing about the tournament is this is an opportunity for him to say, do that, because this tournament has rules. Which
when it has stakes.
Exactly, and those are two things that Goku he can't do. I think the biggest weakness, like we can talk about Goku now, the biggest weakness that they've really brought up about Goku is the fact that he can't, I mean, fundamentally, he has to warm up, which I think is something that speaks to a lot
he has
about.
To be challenged in a way that he understands, not just by the rules of a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Goku, at the start of the tournament, is almost KO'd by a couple things, because he just isn't really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no.
Well, because he's like, I'm not going to fight someone at Super Saiyan if they're not at Super Saiyan.
Exactly. So he tries fighting everybody at everyone's level, but then when he almost gets KO'd a couple times, he's like, oh, okay. And everyone's frightened about that, but what's interesting and what's funny is he's fighting... there's a couple dark horses in the tournament. One of them is Jen, who is, like, kind of considered the strongest opponent in the tournament.
Jiren, yeah.
Jiren, yeah. So, but Jiren hasn't really acknowledged Goku as even a thing. Goku has introduced himself a couple times.
Yeah, he's not worth it yet.
Yeah, but honestly, Jiren has exemplified himself being stronger and more focused than Goku on several occasions in the tournament. However, the thing that I had to say, I saw an episode a little bit back, and that's when I was back on Team Goku there for a second, because the only chance anyone ever had at winning this tournament was before Goku got warmed up. But it's game over, because Goku...
Right, yeah, they give him that good fight against the furries, to just warm up.
So, yeah, and then he did this one where he goes into Super Saiyan God Red, and then goes back into Blue, and then goes back into normal, and then after he works all that shit out, he has this confident walk now.
They do give him a walk.
He just, like, high fives, like, hit, and is like, I'll tag you later, man. And he's talking to other Saiyans.
They also start to do that thing where, like, they're teaming up with other universes. So, like, Goku and Hit team up to just, like, wreck someone real quick. Like,
and it's just getting to this point where Goku is now, like, he's like, right. Because he mentions to the other Saiyans in the tournament, what's her name? It's Caulifla. He mentions...
Cauliflower.
Yeah. He mentions to her... that he's like, yeah, no, you're really good. You'll probably hit Super Saiyan 3 in this one.
Yeah.
And what he's really trying to talk about is the fact that Saiyans get stronger the more fights they endure, and Goku is a veteran fighter Saiyan and is aware of how to do this tournament. The tension that he gave himself at the start by not taking it seriously has amped him into this, like, mode where now he's just, like, building steam. And I'm pretty sure the whole point of this tournament power thing is Goku's going to get a new form at the end of it. That's kind of the implication.
Yeah. Or become the god of destruction. I mean, that's the long-term goal, obviously.
There's definitely some room to grow there, but I think they've definitely exemplified his running stride. Now, the real dark horse of the tournament and the most exciting part, we've covered everybody, right?
Nope, we're missing somebody.
Oh yeah, and this is who I'd like to talk about is Frieza. And I cannot wait. My thought process...
Yeah, they've kept him out of... They gave him one episode where he, like, finger lasers a couple goons to just give it that, like, no, he's Frieza, like...
Oh my god, that was so hilarious.
Oh, they even give him, like, a thing where he's captured one person and using them as, like, a footstool, like, making them grovel, like...
He's there to have a good time. What is it? There was this one moment when the tournament started, and I think nothing explains the dynamic between Universe 7 more than when the tournament started. So they get into the tournament power. It's a ring out scenario. Nobody can fly except people who have wings.
Right.
There's basic gravity. There's like real rules. Stuff like that. Goku and Vegeta ditch immediately.
Yeah, they have this whole thing where, like, Gohan is supposed to be team leader. It's like, all right, we'll, like, go back to back and, like, defend the whole team.
Goku gives his son the title and then ignores it.
Exactly. Which is great, too, because then, like, 5 episodes in, everybody who stayed, like, the Krillin, Gohan, Piccolo, the weaker members, they're all just like, yeah, I guess we should just break up. We're being pretty lame, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. But this is all happening, and Frieza, like, literally Frieza's line is like... Oh, I guess I'll have some fun. And he just walks out and he just shoots out some blasts. And Frieza's there to have a good time. He's also already colluded with his universe's clone.
Yeah, his, like, clone. Which I love the Frieza clone from the, like, twin universe, Frost. His thing is, like, everybody thought he was, like, the most noble warrior in the universe. And, like, they're like, oh, so this is, like, if our Frieza's super evil, their Frieza's super good. Right. And then they reveal that, like, it's like, no, it's all, like, a ploy so it could be even more evil. Like.
And it's Piccolo who says it. He's like, yeah, I guess no matter what universe you're in, Piccolo's...
Frieza's a piece of shit.
Frieza's a piece of shit no matter what you do.
Well, I like talking about kind of the end arcs, too. I mean, they set it up, like, Frieza agreed to be in the Tournament of Power because he wants to win and use the... Like, he tried to do it like, oh, if we win, you gotta wish me back with the Dragon Balls back to life. And Goku's like, you win, and you can use the Dragon Balls yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
And so there's a good scheme kind of subplot there with, again, the OG Dragon Ball Z villain.
Yeah, let's be real.
Which is just a good thing to have in the mix. Again, talking about shuffling the deck, doing a good job of it, like, that's bringing Frieza back.
Yeah, bringing Frieza back, giving him the gold mode, giving him the awareness that Goku has a form stronger than his gold, showing the fact that Frieza has control of his gold, but hasn't pushed himself farther than that and potentially could. There's a lot of work, there's just a lot of potential. It's really exciting, and I love Frieza. I just love villain characters, obviously, and it's really nice to have, like, a classic villain in there.
Dragon Ball is built on turning enemies into friends. Like, I mean, honestly, if you look at even Krillin, Piccolo, Tien, the androids, literally every single character was an adversary to Goku at some point.
It's so funny. Krillin hated Goku.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing.
The whole thing was they both wanted to be Master Roshi's disciple. And Krillin was like, well, I guess I'll just undermine you and sabotage your, like, trading.
Yeah, and then I'll have the title.
So that I get to be Master Roshi's student.
God, there's even...
And then the same thing with, like, Piccolo. Every character, every single character was a foe to Goku.
Yeah.
Except Gohan, I guess.
Well, he turned him against himself. So now let's, now that we've established the tournament power, what are our predictions? What's our forecast here? How do we think this is going to go down?
I think Frieza's gonna be in the end tier. I think we're gonna start knocking off kind of the weak team members that don't need to be there. Let's get Roshi out of there. Let's get Piccolo out of there. He's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Gohan, I don't even like. If I was ready, obviously I'd give Gohan some kind of important fight. I literally think he's just gonna get
nuked.
Like, yeah.
Well, the thing is,
or they go into because it's only supposed to be 48 hours. My other theory is they hit the time limit and they go into some kind of. He makes up some kind of sudden death, basically, to do.
So then it's like, yeah, that's possible. So then it becomes an idea of, like, so you're thinking an opportunity is going to present itself where Frieza's going to be like, okay, now I go. Like, I mean, the episode we're at has already alluded to Frost pulling some bullshit in the next episode. And that is kind of his he killed Krillin, like, that's already his thing. Like, Krillin and Tien are out of the tournament already, obviously. As
of the recording of this podcast.
As of the recording of this... Yeah, so they're not swinging anymore. But there is... And Roshi's probably going to get one more before he goes. But really the question that I'm most frustrated about is what
Vegeta.
what are they going to do about Vegeta? Because, like, I'm going to
predict it right now. They're not going to treat him right.
Oh, God. And I know that's the truth. Because, he's his least favorite character.
And, like, I mean, look at... Okay, like, let's just talk about how much he's just shit on Vegeta in Super. That whole way he draws him all hunched over when he's floating now.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Dumb.
It's so stupid. They do that flashback where, like, it's Vegeta's dad getting shit on by Frieza, and Vegeta's dad is like, there are only two people worse than Frieza, Majin Buu and Beerus. And, like, don't fuck with Beerus. And so, like, in the Beerus arc, they have Vegeta, he's like... super, like, kissing ass at Beerus, and it's just like, come on, man.
I mean...
Vegeta's a fucking badass.
Yeah, I get it, and I guess the whole idea was retribution for the third arc. Like, I mean, we get it, Vegeta turned good, but there's also the concept of the price to pay for him, like, turning evil, like, purely briefly with Majin Vegeta. I guess that's the writing concept standpoint, so Vegeta's got a lot of ground to come back on. I mean, I don't think so, but, like, like, I understand why they might do something like that. Vegeta has been... What worries me and why I think they're gonna let him go is Vegeta is kind of... While Goku is relaxed, Vegeta clearly isn't. In the way that his character has been in this tournament...
Yeah, I think they're gonna give Vegeta one good one-on-one fight, and he's either gonna... Clash KO, cross counter out. Or...
Well, Vegeta's gonna get tricked. Like, that's what's gonna happen, which is unfortunate, but it's the truth. It's funny because he's supposed to be technically smarter than Goku, but in a way he's dumber because he's even blinder. Like,
Goku... see, like, I'd really like if there was some trickery where, like, Frieza got him out, or, like, there's some fight between him and Frieza. Because that, I think, goes back to old beef, which would be cool storytelling.
That'd be cool, but what am I gonna say? I don't, because briefly at the start of the tournament, Frost and Frieza had this colluding. I don't believe for 1 second Frieza isn't gonna, like, pull something over on Frost. Like,
which is gonna be great.
I don't believe it's an actual rule. Like, Frost exists to prove that Frieza is the most Frieza.
Yeah.
Like, that's
He's
why.
the Frieza.
Exactly. Frieza is just gonna be like, oh, by the way, I also tricked myself. Like, it's gonna be cool.
Right. Which is the whole thing, too, about, because that's the thing, too, like, what is there for Vegeta to prove? What is there for Piccolo to prove? What is there for Gohan to prove? They don't really have any character things set up for them to do
but
in
you know
this
what
arc.
Might be interesting? What I will say is this. We've been leaning a lot on the title. And I think we'll end this podcast on this concept because it's been proven to us before wrong. So... This is the idea. So let's say the opening to the new season of Dragon Ball Z Super is them in the Tournament of Power. Very good opening. But it obviously shows Goku fighting Jian right at the start.
Yeah.
And at the end of the intro, he enters what seems to be a new power state and is then fighting Jian for more. So the most obvious answer is Goku versus Jian at the end. Now, before, in that intro, we were taught that Majin Buu is going to be in the Tournament of Power, but he's not. They actually switched the animation now that Frieza got it pulled in. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty strong red herring. I don't think Goku is going to fight Jian. That's my bet.
Really?
I really don't think so. I think, if anything, the most exciting outcome would be, of course, if Goku gets knocked out and the rest of the team has to save the universe without him. That, of course, would be the most exciting thing.
Yeah, it's that or Frieza wins. Like, for my bet is on... My bet is like Universe 7 winning, but Frieza being the one who gets to make the wish somehow.
Oh,
I mean, that's obviously, has to be in there.
Universe 7 is going to win. It's really just the outcome, that we're worried about. I believe that...
I mean, they could always... Worst case or best case scenario with Vegeta, right? He fuses with Goku and they do that.
They do that.
Right?
So yeah, that would be, but they already did that, I think, so they're kinda...
it's Dragon Ball. I don't want to call it out.
There's an easy answer, there's a hard answer. I don't see Hit getting late game. I really don't. Because Hit, what I think is Hit's main weakness, he is technically as strong as Goku, and
He doesn't want it as much.
there's that, but it's also Hit doesn't have experience taking damage. He doesn't. New scenarios.
Yeah, they did that thing
His
where
adaptability is
he fought
strange.
somebody, he took some damage, and you could tell he was really like, oh.
He fought a supersonic
Yeah,
opponent.
yeah, and he was kind of a lower tier supersonic.
Right.
Like, not low tier,
well,
but
the idea was, like, he couldn't adapt to someone moving faster than the time it takes for him to use his ability.
And the thing is, he took damage in his learning phase, whereas
Yes.
Goku doesn't really do that as much.
Well, Goku's taking damage doesn't really affect him, and if Goku's gonna take damage, he takes damage that he knows he can just eat.
Right.
Like, effectively, at this point, no one's taken any damage. Goku and Vegeta are both popping off gat guns and Kamehamehas like there's no tomorrow, so there's no stamina issue there. Like, they're fine. They've taken no visible damage. There's no scratch marks on their
Well, and there
characters.
just is a time limit on this tournament, so I don't want to even see like a stamina battle.
Yeah, that's not going to be a thing. But yeah, Hit has already taken some damage, and that universe that he's representing has taken some severe hits as well.
I mean, they do have all three of the Saiyans left on their team. So
Yes,
there's going
but-
to be something with that.
But two of them have exerted themselves a lot, but Saiyans
But they're
can
still
come
around.
back. Yeah, they're
that's the
still
thing.
around.
If anything, they're more dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I see maybe Vegeta fighting that group
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
We'll see.
I really don't know.
Yeah, but what? All
Which
in
is
all-
good. I want it to be unpredictable.
Exactly. What's the best part about Dragon Ball Z Super is, yeah, you gotta wade through the start, but the Tournament of Power is showing some really classic strides, some good stuff.
Yeah, with 100 episodes, feel free to skip. Skip
I don't-
things.
there's some-
Read the description, decide whether you want to watch it or not.
Yeah, and if you skip an episode, the next episode's gonna tell you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There's no risk, literally.
And it's all fun, guys. Like, that's the best part. It's still fun. It's still fresh. It's canon content from your favorite characters punching each other in the face, and the idea is everybody's excited about it.
One thing right before we get out, I want to also talk about is like we talk about like the opening and just like the Omnigod character just is the viewer, and the whole theme song for the Tournament of Power is like, hey, I made all these characters, let's just keep doing stuff because that's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that really just is embodied within the Dragon Ball Super. It's like, no, Dragon Ball characters exist. Why not like make some more shit with them?
They're good characters.
Like,
What is it? The voice actress for Goku says that she's like, yeah, I want... Her official statement is, I hope there's 900 episodes of Dragon Ball Super.
Exactly. Like, why the hell not just keep it going?
Because
right?
that's the idea that we gotta stick with. It's fun. It's a fun show, and
It's fun. It's new. It's a new generation, you know.
Yes, and Dragon Ball Z has inspired so much. Why not let it inspire more? While Akira Toriyama is still at the helm, because that man
will die someday.
I mean, that's why we got a Dragon Ball skeleton. Come on. Okay, guys.
All right, guys. That's a KO.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and tune in next week for more hard-hitting content. Okay? Blam.